Hey, what's up guys? It's Evan here from Odyssey Strength and Conditioning. I've got a video for you today around squat depth and a little bit about movement variability as well. So if you are somebody who struggles to get depth with your squat, or if you're somebody who tends to get that butt wink, where when you do squat down, you can only get to a certain depth and keep your back straight, and then you start losing the position of the lumbar spine, well, sometimes that can be related to not enough movement variability, which is kind of a bit of a buzzword these days, but I'll do my best to explain it in kind of a straightforward fashion. So if you like to squat, and particularly if you like to back squat, that's going to put you into a particular position when you squat, and it may not always be the best thing for being able to achieve depth or being able to control the position of that lumbar spine. So even for me, I've got reasonable squat mobility already, but if I take a bar, or in this case a dowel, and put it on my back, and then I attempt to squat down, what you'll notice is I can get to about there and keep my back nice and straight, and if I want to go any further than that, I'm probably going to start losing that spine position and getting into a little bit of a butt wink. Excuse me. So part of the problem with that is that relatively extended posture that I get into with a bar on my back is pushing my weight forward, and it's tightening up the upper back. And that is one of the things that will tend to A, start to limit your movement variability over time, and B, it also starts to reinforce that particular pattern, which means that you're good in one shape but not so good in other shapes. And if I'm always squatting in a position where my back is really tight, it's pushing my weight forward here, and ultimately that actually starts to limit my squat depth over time. So one thing you'll notice is that if I, instead of extending through the upper back, if I do something like drive my elbows forward instead, you can notice how that rounds my upper back a little bit. This is not the same thing as rounding the spine or the lumbar spine that we're always worried about keeping nice and straight. What I'm doing is expanding my upper back by pushing my elbows forward, and you'll notice that in that position there, now I can squat significantly deeper and still keep that nice lumbar spine position. So if you're struggling with butt wink, or if you're struggling with squat depth, then one thing you can do is just add in some different style of squatting so that you're not always in this big extended, this posture here, which you wind up in a lot of the time when we're back squatting. So simply to do that, I can either just squat using a front-loaded implement like a kettlebell. So from here, I'll hold the kettlebell in front like normal, but there I'll drive my elbows forward. You probably see, as I drive my elbows forward, you can see my upper back moving back. That kind of expanding the upper back is really helping me to be able to get some extra depth on my squat. And the other thing that often happens is that people who are back squatting a lot of the time, sometimes they run into problems with not enough ankle dorsiflexion. So what I can do if I'm struggling with ankle dorsiflexion, I want to recover some of that, is actually to just use a heel raise. Now I know there's lots of bloody controversy about whether a heel raise is a good thing to be using for when you're squatting or not. It's fine, it's not going to hurt you, it's not going to blow out your knees. Letting your knees travel forward of your toes when you're squatting is not going to suddenly make you implode. It's absolutely fine for your knees to travel in front of your toes. So sometimes what you need is just the opposite of what you've been doing loads of. Doing lots and lots of back squat and sitting back and not using very much dorsiflexion. Then we can just do something that's a little bit different. So I use the kettlebell this time. I'm going to go heels up on the plates. I'm still going to use my heels. I'm still going to really feel my heel down into the plate. But from there, here I can push the elbows forward to expand the upper back. And I'm just going to let my knees travel forward as I squat down. Cool, this is going to feel quite weird if you're used to back squatting. It's going to put quite a bit more work into the quads. But you'll see there, I'm able to get pretty good depth and still control the position of the lumbar spine. So, that'll feel probably quite weird if you're not used to squatting like that. But if you've been back squatting a lot, and if you're struggling either with depth or struggling with butt wink, then give that a shot, and you might find that if you put a little bit of that into your programming, you're still going to back squat if you want to back squat, but this might become an accessory exercise for it, and hopefully that'll help you squat depth, and it'll have you feeling a lot better. It can also if you're starting to feel a lot of tightness and stiffness in your back, that can help to open it up and recapture some of your motion. So if you have any questions or comments, just hit me up in the comments, and thanks for watching.